to the World of Nuntime, the channel that gives you history, mystery, and fantasy, but not necessarily in that order. For we are masters of time and space, but not necessarily the universe, for that belongs to another. Welcome, my noble nerds. Haha. So, what are we doing today? Well, I have been working on this Mott and Bailey castle. This castle particularly is in my hometown, and it's no longer around, as quite a few castles in the area are no longer around. You know, it's just levelled off playing fields, and some unfortunately have been built on. Ours is fortunate that we've still got a park in the area, and this is the Mott and Bailey. We don't know if this is what it would have looked like, but we do know what Mott and Bailey looks like, so it's a little bit of an example. I do have another one, which is the stone castle, because we believe there was two castles, two different castles, obviously the Mott and Bailey, and then it becomes the stone castle. And we've also done the same, but I'm just testing out this latex liquid rubber, because it has taken me such a long time to make this model. And I don't mean this model, I mean the models before it, and the models before that one, and the model before that one. And why do I keep making these new models? Well, I have to destroy the other one, and I do literally just get rid of it, and I'm just that way. It's because, not with this one particular, but the stone one, it keeps changing. Why does it keep changing? Because as we learn something new about the castle, the layout, you know, we have to change it. And I have just been getting rid of the whole thing, because it was breaking it anyway, you know, when you tried to, and it just didn't look right, you know, with the little models on there. So I thought, how can I do this? How can I progress in the future without having to keep destroying and rebuilding everything? You know, and it takes time when you build it out of clay. You've got to mould the clay, you've got to wait for the clay to dry. It takes a long time. So I've come up with this ingenious plan, and to be honest, it's probably what most modelers do anyway. And this is all new to me, and so it's discovering with Steve. And what I've done is what I'm going to do is using the latex liquid rubber. So what we know of so far, probably using the wrong example, so I'm just going to switch it. Switcheroo time. So we're going to switch it, and we've switched it to this one. This is the stone castle, and it changes. So you've got to destroy the buildings, and as I said, so what I'm doing now is latexing the model with the latex liquid rubber, and creating a mould. Now all this we know pretty much is how it was, and we know how it was because of the geophys, which is a resistance survey. And to understand what a resistance survey is, it's like taking an ultrasound, an ultrascan of the ground, an X-ray, but you kind of seeing what's lying underneath, and it gives you almost like a blueprint of what it. So we know that these are the shapes. Now what happens is, as I build it up and I learn about castles, obviously things change. So one of the first things that went wrong was I put big windows at the top on this building, and sorry, big windows at the bottom and little windows at the top. But as we investigate and we learn more about the castles and the medieval period, we realise that the bigger windows were at the top and the little windows were at the bottom. And it kind of makes sense as well, which is like duh moment, because when you're well, a couple of reasons actually. The first one is defensively. You know, you don't want windows where they can just get in. I don't mean on a castle, I just mean in buildings in general, where, you know, an intruder can just get in. You know, they're going to find it a bit difficult if there's very small windows, almost slitty windows at the bottom. But the other reason is that normally the downstairs would have been where they kept the animals, and so you didn't really need the light, and people lived out on the upstairs. So it's little things like that. And I've been watching another YouTube channel called Shadiversity, and I kind of wish I'd found this one about 4 years ago. I've only found it recently. And Shadiversity, he's keen on pretty much the stuff that I'm keen on, and he likes castles, he likes swords, he likes swords a lot, and the medieval period, but he likes his sci-fi and other nerdy stuff, you know, and I would class him as a snerd, you know. I would say that I'm a nerd when it comes to the castle, but sometimes I think my information is coming quicker, so I'm getting to snerd status, but a long way to go before I hit Shadiversity's level. So we keep changing it and having to recreate it, and it's like, oh, that building's not right now. So to cast it is going to sort out the problem. And the reason why it's going to sort out the problem is because once we've cast it, we can make a new mould from plaster of Paris every time. It's just a case of painting it, having a painting, maybe a few touches and what's not, you know, and then doing the corrective buildings, which is obviously we have a few here. So we have the wooden one from the Motte and Bailey, and this design, again, it's thanks to Shadiversity, because he kind of goes into a little bit of details about what the wooden keeps would have looked like. And then we have this one from the stone castle, and all these will be placed onto the said area, because reason why I've done those separately, let's see, is this smart thinking here? I believe it's smart thinking anyway, is that some areas it will be very difficult to paint, because this building here will be here, and so it's going to be difficult to paint there. Like this, for example. I mean, you will be able to get a brush in there, but that area be quite difficult to paint. But I did want to put this building there, but no, there's this one especially, the circular building. It goes in here, and it really is going to make painting this bit quite difficult, and also we're going to have to kind of take some of the plaster out for the window, so you know you can get to these buildings a little bit better. Again, there'll be more buildings here, so that's the reason why we've left some buildings out and why we've cast it. But it wasn't an easy process of casting it. This is I've put the first coating on, and I followed the instructions. So I've got do you know, where is it? There we go. PBO, and this is a release, so you kind of smear it on, paint it on with a paintbrush, and then you put the latex liquid on. Now, I'm learning with all this, and if you're planning on doing a model, then learn with me. But it's oily, which you kind of expect a release thing to be oily, you know, so it doesn't stick. But I've watched videos to say that you do put this kind of apply it over it, so it stops this from sticking and ripping when you pull it off. But when you put this on, because obviously this doesn't dry, and you kind of you leave it overnight thinking it might, but it's oil, so it's not going to dry. But and obviously you've sealed it, and it doesn't penetrate, it just sits on top, so you get pooling. But when you come to put the latex liquid rubber on, you know what it does, don't you? It sits on top almost, so you don't know if you're doing it right, so you just kind of persevere. And I've seen some where, you know, you've got to be delicate with the first coating, so you get into all the nooks and crannies, but this oil is preventing it from going into all the nooks and crannies, you know. If there's a fix, I would love to know if there's somebody who's watching this who's thinking, yeah, I've had that problem. hit a comment below and let me know, am I doing it right? You know, and so I've put the first coating on, and I'll tell you what, this will be an idea. I'm sticking a number 1, not on that one, but a number 1 on that. You just saw me do that there. So number 1, because that's its first coating. Let's get rid of that one. Yeah, because that hasn't had any yet. Because I thought I will test it on. Oh look, I can put number 1 on this one as well. Look. Oh look, we're doing this in true time. Number 1, because it's saying, I'm losing my train of thought here. Woo-woo, crash. It's saying it will need 8, but if it's bigger, about 15. So, and let it cure overnight. So you know it's going to take about. But this one's a. Would you say this is a big one, right? That's a big. It's big. Look at it. It's bigger than my head. So, 15. This is going to take 15. I have got a thickener. To you get. I reckon once I've got to 8, I'll put a bit of thickener on. Hopefully, it will stiffen it up, because that'll be the next thing that I'll have to do. Is how do I keep it rigid? Well, we'll find a video for that, I'm sure. But I really did lose my train of thought on earlier, so I apologise if you're going hanging on that word and just went, yeah, it's gone. So yes, we've put this on, and we're waiting for it to dry. But I'd like to say that if you are into castles and want to know more, as I'm going to be talking about it on my channel, but I would also recommend getting another view of it from Shadiversity. It's absolutely fantastic, and I think he's got great enthusiasm. So I would definitely check out his YouTube channel. And I wish I'd seen it, because he does answer a lot of questions that I've been asking. What would the gatehouse look like? What are the crenellations and the merlons for, and where would the well be, and were there vast armies that came over to camp outside? And I asked those questions, and I kind of answered them as I went along, and you kind of find out that these smaller castles weren't really built to keep out large armies. It was to keep out can I use marauding? If it's wrong word, I'm going to use marauding. No, I'm not going to use marauding. Just local, your neighbours that you have a little bit of beef with, I think is one of the terminologies. So yeah, you're in loggerheads with your neighbours. So this castle kept them out, because they probably would have sent only about 20-30 men, and it was a bit of a skirmish outside the walls. So there's lots of things, and also I think I've mentioned in another video about the walls being whitewashed. So this is the first castle that I'm making, and these are the smaller models, and these will be going into the local museum hopefully soon. And then we've also got a larger model which we're working on, which is going to take time. But I think with that one particularly, like these now, I'm taking, from this point onwards, I think I will make a video and show you my progress. So, you learn with me, discover with me. I think that would be great. And I would enjoy your company as well, because it can be quite lonely. Anyway, up until next time, farewell, and I will see you soon. Take care.